friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm here today with one of my favorite videos to make for the year, or the first in a series of my favorite videos, because we're here to announce that CaribAthon is back for year 3. Yes, year 3 of CaribAthon. That's the period where we celebrate reading books by Caribbean authors. Caribbean author could be an author that was born in the Caribbean or an author of Caribbean descent, because we have a lot of those. And so, yeah, CaribAthon this year is going to be hosted again. Myself and Peta from Comfy Cozy Up, and CaribAthon will run from Wednesday, June 8th to Saturday, June 18th. So 11 days of reading Caribbean books. Yay. So I have like a lot of books here. I don't know. Should I do recommendations in this video? Because I have a lot. I have a lot to choose from. But you know, Caribbean reading. So on our first go around, I guess, we talked about highlighting books by authors from the independent Caribbean countries, and there are a lot of those. And I think now that we're in year 3, we're a little bit more mature as readers of Caribbean literature. So I'm gonna say, read any book by any author of Caribbean descent and celebrate Caribbean heritage, celebrate Caribbean literature any way that you can. Read books that are fiction, read books that are nonfiction, read books that are written for an adult audience or a more juvenile audience, teens, kids, children's books. Whatever you do to celebrate Caribbean literature from Wednesday, June 8th to Saturday, June 18th will help you to participate in CaribAthon. So yeah, hosting this again with Peta from Comfy Cozy Up, and we're really excited. So we're going to be active here on YouTube. We're going to be active over on Instagram, and you know, whatever other platforms we find ourselves on. I don't know if Peta does Twitter. I'm not on Twitter too much. Or Storygraph or any of the others. You know, listen, it is Caribbean Heritage Month just in general in June, and so celebrate Caribbean literature along with us. So I have some books here. I have 2 tall piles of books here that I want to show you, give you some idea of books that you might want to read. So when I said that we could read books by Caribbean authors, I know that some of the books that are written by Caribbean authors and are fantastic are just not widely available in the United States. We still have that as an issue. So I'm going to say read books that are accessible to you, because the best book is the book that you can actually get to read, right? So if you are living in the Caribbean, if you're living in England, there's a huge Caribbean printing, I suppose, in the UK, and that might be accessible to you. But if you're living in the United States, there are some authors and some books that are just more widely available. So yeah, we'd like to read all the books, but you might not be able to get all the books in time for June 8th. So let's start, you know, where we can. So I'm going to show you some books that you may have access to. So Nicole Dennis Ben is from Jamaica, and she has 2 books that are very accessible, Patsy and Here Comes the Sun, and I've read both of these and I highly recommend them. These Ghosts Are Family was Maisie Card's debut. This came out a couple of years ago, and so yeah, I'm gonna highly recommend this one too because I love it. And these are books that were published in the United States. So if you're living in the United States and you buy books online or in a bookstore, or you go to the library to check out books for free, you'll find those books. Andrea Levy is of Jamaican descent, but she lives in the United Kingdom. Is that how that goes? I don't want to say the wrong thing about this author, right? But she has... This book won her the Whitbread. Shortbread is a cookie. This book won her the Whitbread Prize. This is Small Island, which I read and loved. I also have her book Long Song, which we read for the Run Right Reads book club a few months ago. And this was a finalist for the Man Booker Prize back when it was called the Man Booker Prize in 2010. So this might also be widely available. So yeah, read books by Andrea Levy if you can. Edwidge Danticat is a Haitian author. She lives in the United States, and so her books are widely available. And so she has this book that is a memoir of her family, Brother I'm Dying, Edwidge Danticat. So yeah, this is a nonfiction book, but Edwidge Danticat writes beautiful fiction. So pick up any of her novels or short story collections and you can't go wrong with Edwidge Danticat. This is not really coming up so well. So yeah, we might have to see that. There are Caribbean authors living elsewhere in the world and they're publishing voraciously, I want to say. So authors like Kai Miller. This is The Last Warner Woman, which I read and really, really enjoyed. He also wrote Augustown. All the titles that I'm saying right now are books that I have read and enjoyed and would recommend to you if you're starting, if this is your first year participating in CaribAthon and you're looking for a place to start. Any of these titles would be a good place. So The Last Warner Woman, Augustown, This Same Earth, all by Kai Miller. He has an essay collection that was published last year. That's probably going to be on my TBR. So stay tuned for that. We have authors like Olive Senior, a Jamaican who lives in Canada. This is one of her short story collections. This is The Arrival of the Snake Woman. She has other books like The Pain Tree, which was a startling collection that we read recently for the Run Right Reads book club. So yeah, another place to start. V.S. Naipaul from Trinidad, was born in Trinidad and went to England in his youth, and he's written a lot. He's won the Booker Prize, he's won the Nobel Prize for Literature, so his books are probably readily available. This is probably one of his most well-known, and I loved it. It's a big book, but you have 11 days of CaribAthon to read it. So House of Mr. Bizwas by V.S. Naipaul, another high recommendation. Maurice Conde is from Guadeloupe, which is one of the territories. It's a French territory in the Caribbean, and she has written a lot. She writes in her native tongue, French, and her books are translated into English, so they are available probably everywhere. And these are two of her novels. This is Windward Heights, which is a retelling of Wuthering Heights, and The Wondrous and Tragic Life of Ivan and Ivana. May have some problematic themes, but the writing is just so fierce. Speaking of Guadeloupe, though, we have a book here, The Bridge of Beyond by Simone Schwartz Bart, and this is more like a classic. This is a NYRB edition, so you know NYRB books are usually books that have been published in previous decades, and this was stellar. So Simone Schwartz Bart's novel, The Bridge of Beyond, highly recommend. We read that for the Run Right Reads book club last year, I think. Other books that may be readily available to you: Naomi Jackson's novel, The Star Side of Bird Hill. This one is set in Barbados. Yeah, Barbados, and this is great. So yeah, so we've mentioned a lot of countries, right? So territories, Puerto Rico, we have books like The Taste of Sugar by Maricel Vera and Rosario Ferez, The House on the Lagoon. Both of these are set in Puerto Rico. And if you're looking for books about Puerto Rico, go check out Alba from Siriella. I'll link her channel down below. You could go check out her channel. She talks about books from Puerto Rico, some of them in Spanish. So if you read Spanish, you might get some recommendations over there as well. We have this another book by Edwidge Danticat. This is a Dew Breaker. Other books set in Haiti, God Loves Haiti by Dimitri Elias Leger. This one tells a story of the earthquake that happened. Was it 2010? I could just go on, guys. I could just go on. So we have books in Grenada, like Force Ripe by Cindy Mackenzie. Books in Antigua, Jamaica Kincaid. This is Annie John. Jamaica Kincaid has a lot of books. She lives in the United States, so her books are widely available here. Derek Walcott won the Nobel Prize for Literature, so he writes a lot of poetry, and this is a kind of epic poem, kind of like the Odyssey, Homer's Odyssey. Other classics: Earl Lovelace, The Wine of Astonishment, George Lamming's In the Castle of My Skin. Other books that may be readily available: Karine Gettin wrote a book recently. This is geared for a middle grade audience. So this is When Life Gives You Mangoes, and it's set in a fictional place that looks a lot like the place where I grew up in Jamaica. So yeah. And Alicia Mackenzie, She's a Jamaican who lives in France, and this book was published in the United States by Akashic Books. So A Million Aunties is another really fantastic work of fiction. And we have Ibi Zaboy, a Haitian who lives in the United States as well. American Street was written for a YA audience, so you could check that one out. So yeah, lots of books, lots of recommendations. Another video is going to come to you pretty soon, but yeah, just wanted to tell you that CaribAthon is happening June 8th to June 18th. Go check us out on Instagram. We're going to be hosting some challenges over there, as well as we're going to be doing some fantastic things here on YouTube. So stay tuned, join us, please read along with us. Oh, and I should have mentioned, this year for the first time we have a group read. We're planning to host a group read where we all try to read one book, Pleasant View by Celeste Mohammed. And so yeah, that book is going to be on my TBR, and I hope it will be on yours as well if you haven't already read it. So yeah, go check us out, check out the links down below. So yeah, CaribAthon is happening in June, and we hope that you'll be a part of it. So thank you so much for watching this video. Stay tuned, join us, and until next time, happy reading, happy CaribAthon reading, happy celebration of Caribbean literature, and until then, happy reading. Bye.